Good morning, guys. I am Chris, and welcome back to this Sunday's episode of Rift Amps. Before we get going, showing off the navy blue t-shirt. Doesn't it look good? Woo! Very fancy, very smart. So if you're interested in ordering one in either green, black or navy, get on the Rift website. They're all printed to order, so we never run out of stock, and you're really helping support the channel. Right, update on the Vibrolux. So the only issue we had remaining was the noisy reverb, and all he said, sometimes the reverb were cutting in and out. He thought it was his cables. Well, as is quite common on these things, it's usually actually the connectors that are on the chassis itself. They just wear out and they get very, very loose. Sometimes you can tension up the plug on the cable itself, but that only helps grabbing, you know, the outside of the socket itself, the ground side. The positive connection inside, if that's loose, then it's just easier to swap them out, which is what I've done. So both of those in. Now my cables hold very snug on there, and the ones in his cab do too, and the amp's all back alive. So I was just yeah, that reverb works. Remember before, when I wobbled the reverb valve, the driver, it made all sorts of noises. That's now completely quiet, that's good. The hum is just because I'm close. But if I bring up the reverb, so reverb off, reverb on 3, 5, 8. Remember, we've changed the taper of the pot now, and all the way up on 10. And back down to 2 and a bit. Nice low level. You probably got up to 4 now. Maybe even 5 before the reverb becomes kind of too much. Really nice verb. Really pleased with that. So the amp's now done. I'm just going to leave it burning in, soak testing, make sure no other issues crop up with it. And providing it passes all of that, we'll stick it back in the cabinet. Ollie's not collecting this until next week, so we're not going to have a further update on that until he does. If he's here in time, we'll get him to do a demo whilst he's here. Ollie, if you're watching, I'm signing you up for that. But that's all done now. It's a nice amp, killer amp. Sounds good. Drip Edge Vibrolux reverb, back up, running, and gig ready. Just had a delivery from our good friends over at Zilla. Love these guys. I'm going to be singing their praises for years. Also, go check out their latest video on their Tonehenge amp. Absolutely ridiculous, absolutely crazy, but what a killer build. You've got to go watch. It's on YouTube now. Go watch it. Go subscribe to their channel anyway. It's a great YouTube channel. But anyway, I've had loads of cabinets arrive from Zilla. So I need to get all these turned around. Now this should be a black combo cabinet for an Ainsley Lister signature build. And this particular one is going to somewhere. Italy. This is the Italian one. So I need to get this one turned around and sorted. Oh, that is black Tolex, isn't it? Yeah, look at that. He does. It's just so good, man. So good. Right, how do we get into this thing? Here it is. So what I need to do is get this cabinet fully prepped and dressed. So I drill my chassis mounts, I fit the handle. I always do that job myself. Reason for that is that if the handle is already installed, it makes drilling your chassis mounts a lot harder. Now, because I use, sometimes the chassis dimensions change or whatever, I don't have the cabinets all drilled with the chassis mounts already done, because if something changes, then the chassis won't fit properly in the spacing. It might be too far forward or too far back, so you get a gap. It just looks rubbish. So I just do all of that final prep work myself. Makes it a lot easier, makes it more consistent. And it means I've got enough flexibility and adjustability in it to get everything exactly where I need it to be. But it looks so good. They do such a good job. So hopefully you can see everything. The Tolexing, although Paul calls it Tolexing, must be his accent. So I'm going to go ahead now and get this one prepped and dressed. Ainsley signed the chassis off for this one. He signed off 3 on Monday. Sorry I didn't get any footage of it, but he signed off all 3. I'm just waiting on the faceplates to arrive. I messed up the serial numbers and the voltages. On the rear panel it has the serial number of the amp and the voltage of where it's going, and I got them all the way around. So I had to reorder some plates. So they're incoming to me, no problem at all. But we'll get this thing turned around, get this sorted, get it dressed. And then after this, I've got another black combo to do. And then I've got the brown croc head and cab, which is the third of all 3 amps. I'll show them all off to you. You'll see them all, you'll see how good they look. We'll get them all done, get them all dusted. So I'm just admiring the badge in in the light. How cool is that? God, it's nice when we get to this stage and we can start doing final prep and assembly. It makes it all worthwhile, all those hours that it takes to put these things together. I really do like it. I like it a lot. It's Bigsby, the rarely spotted Bigsby cat. You just don't see him. You get scarpered off. He's only got one eye. There he goes. If he's about, then Tremolo's around. Cabinet all prepped and drilled. So handle on, mounts on, speaker in, speaker cable attached, reverb tank in, all done. All that's left to do is, once the faceplates are on the chassis, you can mount the chassis in the cabinet, add my support brackets, add my heat shielding to the back panel, and then this one is done. This one is done. It's looking great. It needs a wipe down, as always. But yeah, it's looking great. Mega happy with it. Super pleased. Sure the customer will be too. Right, I've got another black one to do, and I've got the brown croc head and cab. Just seen a comment on the channel. It says, "Hi Chris, love your work." This is from Larson. "I'm playing bass in my band and I'm using a Fender Bassman 135, just like mine. At the moment, into a Fender Bassman 2x15 cab. I changed the speakers in the early 2000s to the Eminence Beta 15s. Great speaker. Today I'm getting older and have tried gigging with an EBS Reedmar and a smaller cab, but it's just not the same. The Bassman head is big and I'm only using the bass channel live. When I heard you were going to build a Bassman amp, I got excited and started thinking to make my own, but with a bass channel only. I've been thinking about trying to fit it into a Princeton chassis. Do you think it's possible to build the Bassman 100 into that chassis, just the bass channel? I have looked at pre-drilled Mojo Tone chassis for the Princeton Reverb AA1164, and with a few tweaks, it looks like you could fit 4 power tubes and 2 to 3 preamp tubes. My plan is to have volume, bass, middle, treble, present, and a master to fit into the 6 pre-drilled positions at the front. Okay. The back has plenty of room for speaker connections, line out, hum balance, fuse, switch, or whatever you want to put on there. My concern are the transformers. Your thoughts would help a ton. I'm no expert, but I think I can make this thing run safely. Have converted a Blues Junior to more of a Tweed Deluxe before and used to tinker with old radios early on. Done my part of repairs, mostly the Fender Hot Rod series. Thank you for your superb content on YouTube. Lars Eriksson Larsson from Sweden. That's why my English is kind of crap. Let's go have a look. Okay, hopefully you can see me. On the bench in front of me is the standard off-the-shelf AA 1164 Princeton Reverb chassis. This is my template one that I use for marking and drilling cabinets, that kind of stuff. I've also got here my 100 watt Bassman build. This is into a twin reverb chassis. So your question, Lars, was could we downsize this, get rid of the guitar channel, the second channel, just have a 3-band EQ bass channel with a master and a presence pot as well. So that gives us the 6 knobs, 6 controls, 3 preamp valves, so the 2 for the channel, 1 for the phase inverter, and then the 4 output valves. Do I think we could squeeze all of that into a Princeton Reverb chassis? Yes, I do. Yes, I think you can. Things to consider. First of all, I wouldn't use the pre-punch chassis that you can buy online. You can actually get one of these that is blank. So it's folded, it's got your mounting holes, but it's got no holes punched or drilled. So you've got a blank canvas to work from. That's going to be the best option because you're not going to get a 100 watt transformer that's going to drop through this hole. You're going to need a stand-up unit. You're not going to be able to use, well, with that positioned there, the cap can isn't going to work in that position. So you may as well do your filter stack on your main board inside, just like I'm doing with this build up here. But so you're going to need it's going to be a big transformer there anyway. The one that's on this unit is 4.5 by 3 3/4, we'll call it. So if you come away from the mount, your transformer is going to come out to here. You're not going to get it that way, so you're going to have to do your 3.5 that way. So it's going to take up a big old space here, isn't it? Huge space there. Your output transformer, maximum dimensions 3.5 by 3 3/4, so that's going to have to go over there. You're going to need a choke as well. So I wouldn't use the pre-punch chassis. I would get the blank one and I would drill it and punch it yourself. You'd have to modify this one anyway, but if you want to take it to the next level and optimize everything, buy the blank chassis. It is a steel chassis, so it'll be strong enough to hold the transformers. Don't buy one of the aluminium ones that are available online. Yes, they're easier to drill and punch, but not going to support the weight of those transformers. So that's what I would do. Could you get the preamp valves in? Yes, you could. So your 2 for your channel. This would be your phase inverter, and this would be the 4th output valve, the 4th 6L6. Now, the spacing of these are 2 1/4 inches. So these 2 are 2 1/4 inches apart. These 2 are 2 1/4 inches apart. But these ones are 2.5. So if you enlarge that, you're going to have a slightly odd spacing, only by 1/4 inch, but it's going to be odd. Now, the minimum really that you need is 2 inches, right? The rule is usually 1.7 times the envelope diameter. So if we grab ourselves a 6L6, this is a short bottle. Your envelope diameter is, in this one, is 1.5. So in a perfect world, did I say 1.5 inches? Yes, I did. 1.5 times 1.7. Really, you'd want 2.5 inches of clearance. And in fact, because they've downsized that to 2 1/4, perhaps you'd want to keep that. So I wouldn't, in hindsight, I wouldn't go any less than that. What's the twin reverb say? Because that's probably going to give you a good reference point. Well, they're 2 inches actually. So maybe you would go 2 inches. Maybe you could space those out 2 inches, but give yourself a little bit more for cooling. So 2 1/4 would be all right. So 2 1/4 would put this, move this one slightly closer. As you can tell, I'm working this one out live. So it'd be something like that, not quite there, just slightly over, 2 1/4, centre to centre. 1, 2, 3 preamp valves. 1, 2, 3. Do I think that would work? So you're going to have to get a choke on there somewhere, aren't you? What else are you going to need? Well, your output transformer and your mains transformer. Well, have I got anything that we could substitute in the meantime? Yeah. Pretend that's a stand-up unit. Like that. This is smaller than it would be, but just pretend. And then we need an output transformer. Something like that. In fact, if we said that's your mains transformer, and that's your output, that's probably a bit more realistic, isn't it? Choke over there. You might have your output transformer further over this way for balance, but it might go there. Do I think that would work? Could you build a 100-watt single channel basement into a Princeton Reverb chassis? I think you could. But here's the question though, here's the real question. That's your JTM 45 chassis, which is a similar size. So you could definitely do it into that. That would work. Right. Now this is alley, so you'd need to strengthen the corners. And this is the smaller one. This is a slightly, you can see it is a bit smaller, a bit shorter. I don't think you get 100 watt into that. But you might get it into a JTM chassis. You might manage that. I'll zoom you out. You see? That might work. That might be an option too. So, do I think it's possible? Yes. Do I think you should do it? Yes. I wouldn't use the pre-punched Princeton chassis. I would do all your punching and stuff yourself, absolutely. How far forward could you come with that? Because if you've got a valve there, that's as far forward as you could come with that. So we'll back it a bit. So your clearance to that valve will be close, but not impossible. I think you could do it. I think that would be possible. What you need to do is, actually, hold on a minute. So this transformer here is, the stacking is 2.5 plus the end bells, which is 1 inch. So it's going to be 2.5, 3.5, 4.5 inches front to back, which is actually less than what this one is. So that one is okay. The width of it was 4 inches. So it's going to come out further. Yeah, that's going to work, Lars. That's absolutely going to work. Why not? Why not do that? If you're happy doing sheet metal work, drilling, punching, lining stuff up, you could do it. Absolutely. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't. Do you know what's really annoying? I wish I had done that on this. Because I'm building it as a... Now, you see, yeah, if I didn't already have that head shell, I probably would have done that. I probably would have built it into a Princeton chassis. It's only because I've got that original head shell that we're using a twin reverb chassis and doing the second channel. Lars, I like the idea. Perhaps that's the next build I do. Perhaps we just do a single channel version. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, too long, didn't read. Yes, I think you can do it. I have finally managed to get back on with this twin reverb, the silver panel twin reverb master volume, the one that we're doing a bit of a restoration slash resurrection on, going through, there's lots of little jobs on this. Do you remember we redid the filter board and the bias and rectifier board over here? And I had to put it to one side whilst I got a load of builds done. But now I'm at the point where I can carry on and start getting some good progress made on this particular amplifier. So apologies there's been no update on it, but all of those Ainsley signature builds had to get done, had to get sorted first, as is always the case. And then long-term projects like this, you know, you do a load of work on them, you go away and you're dipping in and out sometimes, and then finally you get some time to sit down and actually make some good progress on it. So before we go any further, you can probably tell it's quite sunny. Lovely little weather update. Look, beautiful skies out there. So I've got my camera gear in the way. There we go. Lovely. I'm enjoying sitting in the sun working on this amplifier. I want to show you something that I spotted, which hopefully we can actually get onto camera. Did make me laugh. Someone's worked on this amplifier in the past, and hopefully you can just see there. Somebody has worked on this main switch before, and to stop, it is a replacement switch, but what they've done is to stop one of the terminals shorting against this cathode ground here. They've just put a load of hot glue in. This is all hot glued into place. Can you see that? You can. Look, so there's a big old chunk there, acting like an insulator, but so a load of it is spilt onto the chassis as well. So we're going to have to rectify and fix all of that. I think we're replacing that switch anyway. So that's no problem. That did make me laugh. The stuff you find in these amplifiers. So I'm just going through and doing the electrolytics on the board. Some of them have been done already. Some of them have been done with radials, which I don't like. There's one down here which isn't on the board, this blue cap down here, which we're going to get swapped out. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of those. I'm going to do the plate resistors as well. The big 1 watters that you see, 100Ks. So we're going to get those done. I've got the solder sucker warming up. We're going to get all that done. This is one of the wax boards. So we might go through and just clean up the wax in the areas that we know that can be a problem. We've got a lot of this spaghetti wiring to deal with. So there's lots of bits and pieces to do on this particular amplifier. So I'm just going to crack on and I'll come back once I've made some progress. First of all, sorry about the hum that you might be hearing if you're listening on headphones. I had to put the heating on because it is very, very cold in the workshop today. Don't know why, we've had a massive temperature drop. Got my jumper on, but it's gone very, very cold. So I've had to put the heating on. I will try in the EQ, in the audio, to filter it out, but it's just there. I'm sorry about it. Don't complain at me in the comments. I know it's there. It's going to be a thing that's happening all winter now, is that you're just going to hear that hum in the background sometimes. So I do apologise. Don't shout at me. Anyway, what am I doing now? I've stepped away from the amps and the repairs because I've got to build some more Elysium pedals. I don't know why, but the orders seem to come in waves where I won't get any for ages and then I'll get quite a few orders come in all around the same time. I've never really understood why. Then they'll drop off again and I won't get any inquiries, any questions about them or nothing. And then all of a sudden I will get a bunch of orders through, usually in the same couple of days. You know, I'll get an order, separate orders for 5 or 6, and then it will die off again. Rinse and repeat. It's bizarre. So I've got some to build, and I'm just going to be doing this week serial numbers 176 and 177. So if you end up with one of those serial numbers, congratulations. But I'm just going to stamp the enclosures first. I've got this lovely little stamp set with all the numbers on, so I can individually stamp each unit, and that matches up with the paperwork that goes with it. And then I can get these drilled as well. So drilling on the front, drill at the top for the 2 jacks and the power supply. Then I can get these built. One's going out with an amp order, and the other one is going to somewhere far away. I think it's Japan. I think this one's going to Japan. It might be South Korea. I can't remember. Anyway, but some far-flung corner of the globe anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. So 176 and 177. Do the middle number first. 7. 7. This needs another 7 next to it. This one needs a 6. Do you know how many times I've done the 6 and spun it upside down and done it as a 9? Just double check I get that the right way up. Yeah. Also, big personal moment for me. Today is Friday the 26th of September. And it was exactly 1 year ago, 52 weeks ago today, that I started my life improvement plan, my weight loss journey, my try not to die before I'm 50 plan, whatever you want to call it. So if you go back and watch any video from that's over 12 months old, you'll see, you know, the size I was versus the size I am now, the strides I've made, not just in my weight loss, but in my, you know, mental health and all those things as well. Big turnaround. I am fast approaching my 40th birthday, and I've made one hell of a step. This isn't about me, of course. A lot of people are making decisions to improve their lives, and I think that's wonderful. Whether you're in therapy or whether you're, you know, doing a diet thing or just going to the gym more or just trying to improve your life. Maybe that's just going out and doing more things that you enjoy. So spending, you know, having less stresses in your life, not worrying about work too much, going out and enjoying yourself, whether you're focusing on home improvements or whatever it is. A lot of people are kind of taking up this challenge now of just trying to improve their lives in healthy ways. And for me, the thing I decided to do, I realised I was 18 months away from turning 40, and I thought, if I'm going to do it, now's the time. So I decided to, you know, sort my diet out, sort my weight out, sort my health out, start exercising more. You know, my racing is very important to me. My family is very important to me. And it was a whole thing of just, you know, let's make big, meaningful changes. And I know a lot of other people have been doing that too. And so to everyone who decided to make, you know, to do that in whatever form that is, congratulations to you. But for me, it's now exactly 1 year since I started my journey. It's amazing. And it's absolutely amazing. I feel great in myself. And I'm going to continue with it. I'm going to keep pushing because I would very much like to carry on building amplifiers, racing cars, having fun. You know, I want to get out gigging more, and I want to, you know, spend more time, have more holidays, do all the things in life that we want to do. And you can't do that if you're 6 feet under. So looking after myself, making progress, and yeah, I've been doing it for 1 year now, and now I'm 1 year in. It was hard work, but it's worth it. Oh my God, it is worth it. You know, this summer was the first summer I've had in as long as, you know, 20 odd years where I was able to enjoy the summer heat, was able to go out and do stuff and not worry about my health or anything like that, just go out and enjoy myself, which I've been able to do. So, but anyway, enough about me. Let me know in the comments down below if you've made any changes in your life recently for the better. Men's health in whatever aspect it is, and I say men's health because the majority of my viewers on this channel are men, is important. We don't talk about it enough, and I think we should. Even though this channel is about amp stuff, you know, if we can all help each other along, that's a good thing. Right, enough about that. I'm going to drill some enclosures. You guys will know this anyway, or most of you will, but if you don't, little tip for you. If you use a stepped drill bit to get the hole size that you need, once you've drilled out your targeted size, just slightly touch the next size up on the hole, just for a split second. And what you get is it automatically bevels or does an inner bevel around the hole, and you end up with the most beautiful finish. It looks like a little halo around the hole. You see? Bit of swarf in that one. Just finishes it off perfectly. You can see that little bevel in there. Same on this one. Gives you such a nice finish. So all you do is you do your hole size, and then you just slightly, as it's spinning, you just, for a split second, just let it touch. Maybe 3 or 4 rotations, light pressure, and it just gives you that little bevel there, and it gives you such a clean finish. And you can do the same on the inside if you wish. I haven't done that yet. Another little tip for you, just takes your work to the next level. You can, of course, use a deburring tool like this if you like, which will give you a similar finish on the inside. But if you're on the drill press anyway, you can do it with your step drill bit, and you get such a nice finish. I get a lot of inquiries, phone, email, and a lot of it these days is for servicing and repairs. That's down to the YouTube channel, of course. I get a lot of, sales inquiries for Rift stuff, the models I have in the lineup. And I do get inquiries for custom builds every now and again. Most of them I turn away. And I don't turn them away because I'm too busy. I turn them away because I'm not enthused by them. I'm a firm believer that if I'm not as excited about the project as you are, the customer, the inquirer, the person who's paying the money who wants this thing, it's not going to turn out as good as it could be. I'm not going to be putting everything into it. I might end up not enjoying it, and not giving it my all. And we want to avoid that. So a lot of the times I get asked to build stuff that just doesn't interest me, doesn't excite me. And so I politely decline and say, no, it's not for me. But, here's somebody that may be interested. And it's all fine and it's great. And then it's all par for the course, right? Well, I've just had a really good customer of mine email me about a custom build for an amp that he's been doing some research on. Now, my initial, when I read his email, my initial thoughts on this were, it's not really for me, not my thing. But reading his email and knowing the guy, he always puts a lot of thought and research into his tone in every aspect of it, whether it's pickups or guitar strings or leads or pedal or whatever. There's no impulse purchases with this guy. It's always well researched, well thought out, balanced opinions on stuff. He weighs the pros and cons of everything. So I know he's done a lot of research into this. And I thought I'd do in the same courtesy. So I'm just doing the research now on the amp. And I'll hold my hands up and say, I think I was wrong. The more I look into this particular build, and I'll tell you what it is in a minute, the more excited I'm getting. The more interested I'm getting about this particular custom build. So I think I'm going to quote him on it. What is it? So there is quite a famous amp on the internet, on the forums, on the Facebook groups and all that stuff, of an amp that Howard Dumble modified. He took a 5E3 Tweed Deluxe and modified it, and it's famously, or infamously, I don't know, known as the Tweedledee. And It's, if you were to take a 5v3 Tweed Deluxe and refine it for sweeter overdrive, tighter bottom end, more clarity, bit more headroom. How does it be? I'm just looking at the Rob Robinette website now. His Tweedledee mods reduce voltage sag, tighten up the bottom end, and sweeten the overdrive tone. However, you do end up with an amp that's much more highly strung. His words, not mine. I've not built one of these before. He does say whether you like these mods or not, depending on what you want from your amp. So it would be fair to say it's not going to sound like your classic 5v3 Tweed Deluxe. Okay, fine, no problem. My customer's probably done his research on that and wants that refined thing. Cool. Is it going to be complex to build? Well, I'm just looking at the schematic and the mods. No, it's not complex. Can I build it into a standard size 5v3 chassis? Yes, I can. Does it look like it fits on a standard 5v3 board? Yes, it does. Does it have the same number of inputs and pots and switches? Yes, it does. So, should we give it a go? Shall I go back to my customer and quote him on it and say, yeah, I think we should have a go at this, and why not? I've also, because I know Modulus does a Tweedledee kit, but for some reason I can't get on his website today. It keeps saying 403 forbidden code. So either it's my internet, Starlink, or whether it's his website is down. Modulus Tweedledee layout schematic. Okay. Now I could actually build it into a different chassis if we don't have do it in a custom cab. Oh, you see, he's got me hooked now. He's got me hooked. My brain's already going. Oh, God damn it. I'm going to end up building one of these, aren't I? Yeah. Okay. Modulus does a chassis. This is getting even easier. I think once we finish the train wreck and my 100 watt basement build, this will be a fun thing to do. What do you think? Tweedledee. Any YouTube vids? I can't play this to you guys because I'll get a copyright strike. So I've just watched the video. Sounds alright. Tweedledee amplifier speaker. What speaker did they put in it? There's a forum thread here. Oh, there's loads. We're going to have to do all the research. I might just leave the speaker choice to the customer and then refine it from there. Oh, I've just found another thread. Oh, Seriatone does one as well. Just have a quick look. 3-position negative feedback switch. I'm going to go ahead and quote the customer for a Tweedledee build. I've not done one before. I'm really excited by this now. God, it's amazing how quickly I can get into something. Don't take this as an invitation to start requesting loads of weird stuff. But I think we could do some cool things with that. If not, just to build one to say we've done it. And the more I look into this, the more I can see that other people have built them, especially on the homebrew build guys. So there's definitely a lot of research into these things. I've never looked into them. Never looked into them. Right. That's 10 minutes of waffling. Tweedledee. Well, that's it then, guys. Thank you very much for watching once again. As always, please give this video a thumbs up, or your comments and questions down below. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. If you're feeling super generous, either buy a t-shirt or join the channels like these guys did, and I will catch you all at the next one. Hello and welcome to Van Club. Update on the van and its crash damage. The insurance company offered me £648 for this van. in return for completely writing it off and disposing it. And we've decided to reject that and fix it. I think I've told you already. The excess on the policy is £400, which means I would only receive 248 quid in cash for my van. So we've decided to fix it. We figured if we can fix it for less than the excess, 400 quid, then, you know, will I pay 248 quid for the van? Of course I would. Absolutely. The storage, the towing capacity, all of that kind of stuff, the ease of life that I have because of having the van, it's worth every penny to me. So that's what we're going to do. So tomorrow, on Saturday, on my day off, I've got all the bits now. We're going to rebuild the front end. It's all bolt-on parts, easy. The radiator, thankfully, is all good. All the damage on it is purely cosmetic. So we managed to get all that mounted back in properly and done. So it's going to be new crash bar, new bumper support, new grille, new front bumper and new headlight, all back together, all done and dusted. So that is all good news. And I will time lapse that and I'll put that in a future video. What else while we're around here? The race car, the BMW, unfortunately it was over revved at Donington Park. Probably rather than going downshifting from 5 to 4, it went 5 to 2nd. Cylinder number 1, the piston's got a massive hole in it, the spark plug was all smashed up. We stuck a camera down there. Right, then just move your... That's the wrist pin, top of the... Pull it out a bit. Back again. Oh, you can't. Yeah. Yep, that's the wrist pin. So that is a new engine required on that vehicle, which is annoying. So that's not going to race now till next year because I don't have the funds to pay for a new engine for it at the time being. Got to save up. The Mazda is all back up and running, so that will be back out at Donington Park in 2 weeks' time for the final round of the championship, which I'm very much looking forward to, because I've got to outscore the Nova to secure second. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thanks for watching.